Do you try to be perfect? Do you feel like if you're finally perfect, everything will be okay, you won't be hurt, you won't be judged? I get caught up in that sometimes too, and it's a really common belief that people have. We're encouraged by society all the time to work harder, be a little more perfect, a little more polished, look like the magazine covers or the models on TV, and suddenly your life will be perfect and it will be wonderful. It doesn't really work that way. That's a really good way to get ourselves in a trap, exhaust ourselves, and feel really frustrated. I'm Cathy Vartuli from thrivingnow.com, and I'd like to do some tapping with you on perfectionism. Perfectionism actually gets in the way more than we think. It's a great excuse for not starting anything. It's one of the key causes of procrastination, and it stops you from living. I know I didn't date for 14 years. I wasn't in a relationship for 14 years because I thought overweight people really couldn't date. I believed all the hype that was out there. So I kept waiting for this miracle to happen, my weight to change, so that I could suddenly go out there and start dating. Nothing really changed in the world out there. People still judge people that are overweight. People will judge us for a lot of different things. And I did lose a little bit of weight, but mostly my body is the same. It seems to be really happy here. I've learned to love my body though, and I've learned to release a lot of the shame. So I am dating. So the world didn't change. I changed here and here. And I invite you to start changing here and here about your perfectionism, whatever it is. Whether you think that you have to have straighter teeth or fewer freckles or you have to lose that extra 2 pounds or the extra 200 pounds, it doesn't matter. Whatever your belief is, whatever's holding you back, 99% of the time, the biggest block is in your head and your heart, and we can tap to change that. So think about your perfectionism. And you don't have to start by tackling the biggest project you ever wanted to complete. If you're considering going out dating, for example, like I was doing, when I was facing the fears around that, I wasn't imagining getting married. I was imagining meeting a nice person for coffee. So take a small baby step, but think about what your belief and your block is around that. What is your perfectionism goal? If you had X, you would suddenly not have to feel Y, and we all have it. I thought if I had a slender body, I wouldn't have to feel afraid and I wouldn't have to risk rejection. So whatever it is, write yours down if you can. And write down how intense it is. Is 0 to 10, where 10 is super intense. And it may be a 12 or a 14 for you. But notice what it is. And let's do some tapping. So put your feet on the ground and take a nice deep breath. We want you to be present for the tapping. So what I'd like you to do when we tap, notice the sensation of your fingers tapping on your own skin if you can. If we've done a lot of tapping, it's really easy to get in our head and be a little mindless. And tapping still does work when we do that, but it's more effective, it's more nurturing, and more healing when we're actually present for the process. So take just a couple minutes and shut out the outside world and be here and now. And notice how your fingers feel when you tap on yourself. Karate chop. Even though I think that if I'm finally perfect, I won't be hurt anymore. Maybe I can go out and do things anyway and start living my life. Even though I thought I had to be perfect before I could get out there. Maybe that's an old story, and maybe I don't have to believe it. Even though I really want to be perfect, and I'm not going to start until I am. What if that's an excuse so I'd never have to start? Top of the head, I'm afraid I'll fail. Eyebrow, the truth is I might. Side of the eye, a baby fails a lot of times. Under the eye, when he's learning to walk. Under the nose, anytime we do something new. Chin, we do stumble. Collarbone, and sometimes we fall on our butt. Under the arm, I think that if I'm just perfect. Top of the head, I won't risk that. Eyebrow, but that means I've never started. Side of the eye, that means I've never tried. Under the eye, so I don't even know if I can do it. Under the nose, I have a belief of how it will feel. Chin, I think if I'm perfect, it will flow beautifully. Collarbone, just like fairy tales. Under the arm, just like a sitcom on TV. Top of the head, but the truth is, life isn't like that. Eyebrow, whenever we step outside our comfort zones. Side of the eye, we sometimes trip and fall. Under the eye, but I can comfort myself now. Under the nose, it's not like before. Chin, where I would sit in humiliation. Collarbone, I can tap when I fall. Under the arm, I can get support. Top of the head, and maybe I can learn from my mistakes. Take a nice deep breath. Notice what you're feeling. Different things come up for different people. This is a perfect time to write down any thoughts, memories, beliefs that are coming up because those are perfect things to tap on. So while you're in the moment, we encourage you to have a pen and paper and jot down that time I was 13 when I really thought I was going to do well and I was winning the race and I fell or I tripped or I embarrassed myself. Whatever it is, if you write down what happened and what you're feeling about it, and then you can go back later and do some tapping on it and start clearing that out. And you can do some inner tapping if you want. Imagine that you're going back in time and tapping with that younger self. We have a video tutorial on that at thrivingnow.com/inner tapping. So whatever it is that you want to avoid, that feeling that you're trying to avoid by being perfect, notice it in your body. Allow yourself right here, right now. You're not alone. Allow yourself to feel it. And let's do this. Do some tapping. Karate chop. Even though I swore I would never feel this again. And I'm doing everything I can to protect myself from it. Maybe I can actually handle it now. Even though I couldn't handle it very well back then. It felt like I might die. The truth is I was pretty young back then. And no one taught me how to deal with my emotions. What if I can feel it now and heal it and release it with love? Top of the head. This really hurts. Eyebrow, no wonder I wanted to avoid this feeling. Side of the eye. It feels awful. Under the eye. But maybe it's not quite as bad as I feared. Under the nose. And I can tap on it now. Chin, I wish I'd had that back then. Collarbone. It feels really good to take care of myself. Under the arm. I can comfort myself. Top of the head. And I can stop running from this feeling now. Take a deep breath. Some of our greatest victories and the most beautiful miracles happen when we face that fear. When we look at the emotion we most want to avoid, the feeling, the experience we most want to avoid, and we tap and comfort ourselves and get support so that we can face it, whole new worlds of freedom open up for us. I was really, really afraid when I first started dating of the look in people's faces when I first met them. I was afraid that they would feel surprised, shocked, horrified to be dating someone who was bigger. So I did a lot of tapping on it. I released a lot of shame around it because it was resonating with my own pain, my own rejection of myself. And once I did, a friend of mine actually suggested that I put in my profile, and I did. I put it right at the top. If you don't like dating bigger women, don't call me. Don't email me. And that worked really well. So they were pre-warned, and if they were shocked or horrified, it was kind of their own deal. And I didn't resonate with it anymore. And I've gotten out and I'm experiencing the world at a whole new level. I really hope you will too. The world needs what you bring to it, whether it's a friendly smile or a recording that you share or blog posts that you write or some difference you make with someone's life. It just ripples out. Every change we make, every time we touch someone, it ripples out through the world, and we can make the world a better place. So thank you so much for tapping with me. I'd love to hear what you think. Please leave comments below, and you can always email us at support@thrivingnow.com. Thank you.